Hey, what's up guys, it's Arun, and today I'm be taking a look at the iPhone XR in late 2020. Honestly, this guy still stacks up really well against some of the newer competitors, and whether or not you should think about picking one of these guys up in late 2020, say as a Christmas gift or something. So as usual, I'm going to split up this review into a couple of separate categories. I'm going to start off by taking a look at the design and the aesthetics of the phone. Next I'm going to look at how it performs and some of the specs of the phone. After that I'm going to look at the cameras and how it performs in some video and photography environments. And then finally I'm going to take a look at how it performs in some modern gaming. So kicking things off with the design, if you take a look around the phone, you're going to notice some serious similarities between something like this and even the iPhone X. And the main reason is because it's pretty much the same sort of design. It's a little bit larger footprint than the iPhone X, and it's a little bit heavier, but as far as the main design goes, it's pretty much identical in looks and feel to an iPhone X, all while being a little bit bigger. So taking a look around the phone, at the bottom of the phone you can see the two speaker grills as well as the lightning port. On the right hand side of the phone, right at the bottom, you can see the SIM eject tray and the power button at the top of the phone. You can also see two LTE bands on the top and bottom. On the top of the phone it's actually completely bare. On the left hand side of the phone you can see two LTE bands again on the top and bottom, as well as a lock switch at the top and two volume rockers. Now the fantastic feature about iPhones is that lock switch. I absolutely love that. On the back of the phone you can see the single camera as well as a flash and a microphone. It's quite clean as far as the text on the back goes. There's only the Apple logo and the word iPhone. And on the front of the phone you can see that renowned notch that Apple has, as well as the front facing camera and the earpiece and the sensor array with all the face recognition and all of those sensors in there. The phone has a 6.1 inch liquid retina display. Now one of the hot topics about this phone is that this display is actually 720p and it's an LCD panel. Now as far as I'm concerned, I haven't actually noticed any drawbacks to the resolution of this display, and every time I was watching video or playing games on here, it looks very crisp. You have to keep in mind that the phone screen is quite small, and as an advantage it actually prolongs the battery life on here, which is fantastic on this phone just due to having a lower resolution display. As far as the specs of the phone go, it's powered by an A12 processor, which is a second generation neural engine bionic chip. It is quite fast and you're not going to notice anything slowing down on here. The phone is a little bit heavier than some of the other competitors, coming in at almost 200 grams, and the bezels around the screen are a little bit thicker than you will see on something like an iPhone X. You can pick up this phone in two different capacity options, 64 gigs and 128 gigabyte options, and it comes in a variety of different colors, ranging from product red to yellow, white, black, and of course the blue. The actual performance of this phone is actually really fantastic. Day-to-day use and just moving through the UI is really satisfying. All of Apple's animations are really crisp on here, as you'd expect with such a powerful processor like the A12 Bionic. No slowdowns at all as far as the performance in day-to-day tasks go. I even downloaded iMovie and I did some 4K editing, and it performed really well. The phone didn't slow down at all at any point. You can make some excellent video edits on a phone like this. The facial ID system worked just as well as my iPhone X, and I didn't find any slowdowns there either. As far as the speakers go, I would say they're a little bit lackluster, but I would also say that they are better than my old Samsung S9. Just like that phone though, they do work a little bit interestingly to give you a surround sound experience in landscape mode, with the earpiece acting as a second speaker as well as the two bottom firing speakers. It works okay, but it's definitely better than having nothing there, and it does give you a little bit of a surround sound feeling. The phone also has 3 gigabytes of RAM, which is a little bit more than the iPhone X does, and it also has a 2942 mAh battery. You can comfortably get through a full days of use with a little bit left over. You could probably get through 2 days of use if you're a bit of a lighter user, so definitely a really good plus as far as battery life goes. Moving on to the cameras, the rear facing camera is a 12 megapixel shooter with an f1.8 aperture, and it's fixed at 26mm wide. It's capable of shooting at 4K at 30 fps or even 60 fps, and 1080p at up to 240 fps for some really slow motion video. It also has a portrait mode, but something important to note about this is Apple has locked this portrait mode to people only. So if you want to take a nice blurred background of an object, you're not going to be able to do that with this phone. The front-facing selfie camera is a 7 megapixel shooter with an f2.2 fixed at 32mm. It is capable of shooting 1080p at 60 fps. But again, something like this you're probably going to use for some basic selfies and maybe the occasional video chat. So you can see, guys, the cameras are very solid on this phone. Definitely a plus on this phone is how solid these cameras are. So to show you the performance of this phone, I've downloaded a few titles in here to show you how it performs in some modern gaming. I've got Call of Duty Mobile in here, as well as Vainglory and Asphalt 9. So starting off with Call of Duty Mobile, the game ran absolutely perfectly, 60 FPS the entire time. The A12 Bionic and the 3GB of RAM in here are completely overkill for this kind of gaming session, so it really played completely fine in Call of Duty Mobile. Vainglory was the same story as well. It is a 2014 game, so no doubt in my mind that it's going to run it completely fine at 60 FPS locked, and of course it handled that totally fine. Finally, Asphalt 9. I was expecting a little bit more of a slowdown here, but the phone handled the gaming completely fine. It was completely locked at 60 FPS the entire time. It was very impressive actually. So huge props to Apple for some serious optimization in some of these games. So finally, guys, should you pick up this phone in 2020? I'm going to say yes if you are interested in a cheaper option, and the battery life is actually better than an iPhone 10. While the iPhone 10 does have a slightly nicer design around it, with an extra camera on the back and an OLED panel on the front, the iPhone XR actually has some really good performance in the cameras, and it is more powerful with the A12 Bionic chip inside of it. So if you guys are thinking about between these two phones, honestly the iPhone XR is not a bad phone at all, and it's really future proof with that new processor inside of it, so you're not going to have any problems in the future with a phone like this one. Anyway guys, let me know what you think in the comment section below. I love reading your comments, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.